Hi, everyone. Once again, Accu-Stats Video Productions is pleased to welcome you to the 2017 Accu-Stats Make-It-Happen Straight Pool Invitational. Thank you. Right here at Sandcastle Billiards in Edison, New Jersey. We're in the Aramis-Simonis Arena, as we always are, for the Make-It-Happen series. We're doing straight pool this time around. Thank you for being with us. We've got 6 of the best players in the world to play the Make-It-Happen round-robin format, playing straight pool games to 150 points. As is the custom in the Make-It-Happen series, once the round-robin play is concluded on Saturday night, we'll bring back the players with the 2 best overall records, and they'll compete in a 1-match playoff for the championship. Every match carries a $1,000 prize to the winner. That includes the final championship match. And we've got great pool coming up for you here just momentarily. I'd like to take another opportunity to recognize Diamond, Simonis, and Aramis for their support of the Make It Happen series, and also want to thank each and every one of you for your loyalty and devotion to Accu-Stats Video Productions and Make It Happen as well. We're going to go right into the introductions of the players here. We've run a little bit late tonight, so let's not waste any more time. Let me introduce them to you right now. From Trinity, Florida, he's a former BCA Open 9-ball champion, former All-Japan Open champion, has a high run of 228, sponsored by Miyuchi and the School of Pool. Please welcome the Prince of Pool, Corey Deuel. His opponent, making his debut in the Make It Happen series, from Berlin, Germany. He finished in the top 10 in the recently completed US Open, and he's also the reigning China Open champion. With a high run of 293, sponsored by Predator and Czechio, let's welcome Joshua the Killer Filler. Okay, gentlemen, please lag for the break if you would. Your referee for this match is Mr. Carswell Ransom. Julie Haas, the timekeeper. And I'm going to send it over to our host in the booth, Double J Jeremy Jones, and our very special guest commentator for this match, Dynamite Darren Appleton. Take it away, Jeremy.
Yeah, and thanks again, Kenny, and welcome again, everyone, to the 2017 Make It Happen Straight Pool Invitational. We're here in Edison, New Jersey. I'm Jeremy Jones with Accu-Stats Video Productions, and again, like Kenny said, a special treat joined by Darren Appleton here in the booth. How you doing, Darren?
Cheers, Jeremy. Yeah, very happy to be here. Just come off the back of a win against Shane. I was quite fortunate in the end, so always happy to beat Shane.
Absolutely.
Obviously, any game, really. I mean, obviously, straight pool's not his strongest game, but straight pool's not his strongest game. So, but he's one of them guys that can run 100 balls easy at any given time. So, obviously, to win the first match is very important. And we've got two good straight pool players there. I'm guessing Joshua, even though he's only 19, he comes from Germany, which is a really known country for straight pool. So I'm expecting him to play pretty good straight pool. And Corey, obviously, we all know about Corey. He plays all the games good.
Yeah, there's not really a weakness in Corey's game. We used to consider him a little weak at the bank pool, but he's even come along at that. There's so much banks played these days. And getting back at filler, really, the foundation for the Germans are the 2 games we're playing here this week, the games that they really get taught at a young age, the 8-ball and the straight pool.
Yeah, Joshua's, you wouldn't really think he's German with his style of play, because like most Germans are very methodical, very check all their angles, where Joshua is like a Jason Shaw, really. He's like very attacking, plays on all field, natural ability, and he's a bit of a breath of fresh air, really. I think we need more young players like him, like very aggressive and shows a lot of emotion on the table.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but I tend to believe that Ralph was a little quicker when he was Joshua's age, and I think I commented on earlier. Now with a right-hander, he can cut this forward just looking at it real quick, but and we'll get back to that, but. I think Josh will slow down as the years come along. I don't think he'll ever be a slow player by any means, but I think he'll slow his pace down. It might be a little while, and both these guys have already played today. Deuel with an opening win, ironically, over the guy who beat him in the finals last night of the 8-ball with a big win over Shaw. And then Filler had a loss to Dennis. Didn't play his best. I would think he would say that.
Yeah, I mean, coming from a different discipline, it's not always that easy to adjust. Just your mindset, really, and keeping that focus and concentration is a key playing straight pool. And I think today, I think the first match, nobody's really played that well. I mean, there's been a few decent ball runs, but a lot of mistakes, what you wouldn't expect. Like missing balls, really. I mean...
yeah, for you, I thought you played the game as solid as anybody has today, but it's just a couple of misses that none of us expected. I'm sure you didn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a... And it sort of shocks your system a little bit, sort of like just knocks your confidence a little bit. And but we're all human, we all make mistakes, we have good days and bad days, and so when you get a win against someone like Shane, then you take it anyway. But I managed to do enough to gather a good lead in the match, so he had it all to do. I mean, he put up a good show at the end, so we're just happy to win the match, and Corey's made a good cut shot there. I think he can make the 1 ball, so he should kiss into the... No.
Oh, he's shooting the 7.
7, so this is
which
tough.
is, yeah, feast or famine. I mean, if he gets it down, he's going to open the rack, but if he doesn't, he's going to leave a shot. He caught it. He didn't spin it. And well, as soon as I said he's going to leave a shot, the only one he's left is a tough 6 ball.
But if you notice there, he sort of quit on the shot a little bit. He didn't really put any authority into the shot. So I'm guessing that's the conditions. The table's playing a little bit wet tonight, so the balls are playing a little bit heavier than usual.
Right.
And I think that's what happened there. He sort of quit on the shot because he's frightened to really hit the ball. So I think it's a table. It's a table where you got to play really aggressive on it and attack it. If you play tentative on this table tonight, the guys are going to make a lot of mistakes. And also, this is a late night match, and both players have played today, so it'd be interesting to see who.
If fatigue plays in,
so
sure.
that could play into Joshua's hands because obviously he's the younger player of the two.
Right, and I'd asked Danny about this. I believe it was yesterday. It may have been today, but for myself. When I'm playing a game like straight pull or 8 ball or 1 pocket, as the days go on in a tournament, I get much more fatigued because you're using your brain so much compared to like a 9 ball event or a 10 ball event. Don't get me wrong, 9 ball, 10 ball, you have to keep your focus, but it's a different type of, it's more of an automatic thinking game than it is, straight pull, because straight pull, it doesn't take but an inch here or there to really change your pattern.
Well, with straight pulls, a little bit like 8 ball, really. You have to keep your focus all the time, even more so at straight pull, because if you miss, you can be sitting down for a long time. I mean, you could be in your chair. Usually you're in your chair for like 30 minutes at least against a top-tier player. And so when you do come back to the table, you're sort of cold. And you just don't want to give the table up, because it's a great game when you're at the table, but when you're not at the table, it's like torture. That chair's it's like a electric chair, really.
Right.
It's probably like the worst game to be sitting down. Where like you said, with 9 ball and 10 ball, you always sort of know you're going to come back to the table, or unless it's win a break and you're playing someone like Shane and he's running like 6-7 racks on you.
Right.
But usually you come back to the table pretty quickly at them games. And like you said, with 9 ball and 10 ball, the shots are staring you in they stare you in the face. So you play at a good rhythm. Where we 8 ball, 1 pocket and straight ball, you got to think more, because there's a lot more patterns involved. So concentration's massive in them 3 disciplines.
Yeah, and I think just as much as what we're getting at, you use that brain a lot, it'll make you tired a little quicker.
Yeah, when you're getting older, like us.
Well, I didn't want to say us, but I'm glad you went ahead. Even though, what are you now? Are you just turning 40?
41. 41. Be 42 in February.
And Kenny had talked about just weeks away from being inducted into the Hall of Fame. And it's got to be sweet, too, that you'll have a lot of your not countrymen so much, but the Euros there because of the Moscone Cup event. Yeah,
that's going to be great. I mean, I got quite fortunate that it's the 50th anniversary, so they're making a big thing of it, bringing out all the legends of the game. And so it's just sort of pinching myself, really. You don't really expect it at such a young age, but obviously you take it.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing yourself should be inducted one day, right?
Well, we'll see. I hope so, but, I'll tell you what, I think if I squeaked in another big win somewhere, that would help. But nevertheless, we'll be in Vegas, and it'll be something to see when you're inducted there, like I said. Yeah. I believe that's December 5th or 4th?
Yeah, December the 4th. The Moscone starts at 11 a.m. on the 4th. Usually it finishes around 4 p.m. and then the dinner's at 7 p.m. on the 4th. So it's not such a bad thing that I'm not in the team this year, because it is a big distraction, that Hall of Fame. So sort of happy just to go there as a fan and watch the Moscone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always nice to be part of it, but it'd be nice to look at it from like a fan's point of view and just watch all the guys sweat it out.
Yeah, not only that, I tell you what, I know you're not done trying to make the team, so a little humility watching some other guys playing, so make you maybe even try harder to get back. Now there, and a lot of times you don't want to draw back to the end rail, but if you're going to have the one time, that was land pretty nice to do so.
Yeah, I try and usually play most shots with a bit of inside English and draw it to the side rail, where most of these guys, they're drawing the ball, but the ball's not breaking so good.
And that's the humidity a little bit, I think.
Yeah, and I think going to the top rail is not really the shot. I think I only really went to the top rail once just because I had no choice.
Right.
But I try and draw into the side rail and come out that way.
I was going to say two things that happened there. Not only did he get on a 6-ball that was missable, he was going into that stripe on the bottom, and that angle there, you can hit that ball a lot of different ways and scratch.
And again, like if you notice, he missed that ball fat as well. So guessing just the ball's a little bit wetter. So I think you've got to on them cut shots, you've got to be conscious just to hit it a little bit thinner than what you normally would.
Right.
Which is difficult to do.
Absolutely, yeah. You play all week a certain way on this table.
But I think there he sort of rushed that shot. I think he could have found a better solution.
And that's what I found. Not so much missing by rushing, but just getting a little out of line here and there for Josh all week, just by overlooking a little bit.
Oh, well, there's no doubt that playing 9 balls is his strongest game without a doubt. Just because it just sort of suits his style. But I think eventually he'll become good at all the games once he spends more time in America.
Yeah.
I think that's the key.
And speaking of spending time in America, I don't know if it was by plan because I know the Moscone Euro team was not totally announced until after the U.S. Open or during the U.S. Open, but I thought if it was any kind of plan or even thought of a possibility, I think the Euros did real well having Josh over here playing in some events before he goes to Las Vegas next month. I think that because this is his first trip to America, I believe, right? This last month?
I think second. He come for the World Straight Pull Championships a few years ago.
Oh, he did?
He
Okay.
actually did well. I think I actually beat him in the semi-finals. So he's good at all games. But I mean, like you said, playing at the US Open and tournaments like that's going to help him. Because playing in Vegas in the Moscone is different to playing in London. For the European guys, so
not only the weather, the table plays a little different,
and that's what worries me a little bit with the European team this year is because Al-Qaedi.
Did he make that off the 8?
I think he actually glanced the 8-ball there.
It looked like it just subtly glanced the 8.
Yeah, I think he just glanced the 8-ball.
Now
there.
sometimes it'll appear so because it goes next to it so much, you'll get a little bit of like a shadow or a little bit of a visual of the 7 going by the 8, but it sure looked like it to me. Of course, we're late in the day.
Yeah.
My eyes could play a little bit of tricks. You were getting at a little bit of concern with the Euro team this year?
Yeah, because 3 out of the 5 players have been playing in Vegas for the first time. So that's like 3 rookies in my mind. Where obviously the American players are going to feel more comfortable playing in America. Like Billy Falk playing in Vegas for his debut is perfect. Where if he was to go to London, I'd be worried for him to go to London and play in front of that crowd. But playing at home, he's going to have a lot of support, and I think he's the type of guy what's going to really enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. And Corey's been a bit unlucky, I think, this year because he's had a good year, but he didn't play enough Moscone Cup ranking events. So
I think his game's really come around again the last year and a half. You know, he had a little bit of a lull.
Yeah, especially in rotation games, and I think he's really been playing good at rotation. But he's slightly changed his stroke a little bit. Because he's been playing a bit of snooker and Chinese 8-ball, he's started to cue a little bit more like a snooker style, and I think it's starting to pay off. I mean, his long game's definitely improved. I said to him about a year ago, I said, if you have a weakness, it'd be your long shots.
Right.
And I think he's really improved his shooting, his long shots. Because he's always been great with a cue ball.
Yeah, what I've seen is
amazing.
when he's been shooting off the rail this week. Like he had a dead roll ball in from a small angle on the side. He's been real accurate all week.
Yeah, I would say actually the best 2 players I've ever seen rolling the ball from distance is probably Ralph Souquet and Corey Deuel.
Yeah.
Because I'm scared to death to roll the ball from that distance. But Corey and Ralph, they do it really well. And you got to trust you have to trust your technique to do that. And
Absolutely.
and you've got to hit the cue ball a certain way also. Corey's he's great to watch when he's really on his game. He's very creative and sees the game really well.
Well, one thing about the rookies I've seen in the Moscone Cup, just, you know, I played in it several times, 7 times I think total, not near as many as you or some of these other guys, but even keeping updates on it and getting to watch a couple of them, not only by TV but in person when I wasn't playing. It seems to me the rookies, they either like almost win MVP or they kind of have struggled. There's not that medium too much, like solid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I mean, I've played in 8 Moscone Cups, and we've played in a different team every year, and there's always been one rookie, and that rookie's been hit or miss.
Right.
When they've been hit, I mean, they've been great, like Albin Auschen, Cowboys, but a few guys have struggled, and it's easy to do it. It's one of them, the Moscone is one of them tournaments. If you get off to a good start, then you'll settle down. If you don't get off to a good start, it's very lonely.
Right.
And I would imagine you played in quite a lot of Moscones.
7.
Yeah.
7. Yeah.
I mean, it'd be nice to see you play a lot more. Because for me, if you played a lot more, you'd make the team. I think you're a good team player, and I think you bring a lot to that team.
I think
you was close to making the team last year, I think.
Yeah, and I like the scenario. I like that situation being out there. I love team sports. I grew up playing team sports. I really thrive off of being around other guys, especially most of them are my heroes. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I was the same. When I first met the team, I'm playing with Ralph, Niels, and Mika. I'm thinking,
yeah.
Because I've watched the Moscone from day one. I mean, I'm from the UK, so it's televised live in the UK. So it was amazing when I made the team, and you're playing with them guys.
Yeah, and it's really, I believe it's really a one ball at a time format, even more so than any other event. I mean, we all try to play that way anyways at every event, but it's really magnified in that event.
Yeah, for sure. Corey played that pattern perfect.
Yeah.
So if Corey's one of them guys, if he gets on a 40, 50 ball run, he's liable to run out the match.
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
Because he'll get really comfortable.
And Corey, I talked to him last night for a bit about the straight pool, and he said to me, he says, "Man, I'll play like as well as you can play 4 or 5 matches in a row."
Yeah.
And he said he really hasn't won as many straight pool tournaments as he had liked because he said he always seems to have one crooked match, one match that he's just kind of off.
Believe it or not, I think I've played him the last 3 years in the World Straight Pool, and we've always played in the last 8 twice and the last 16, and luckily I've managed to beat him, but he didn't really play that well against me.
Yeah, so but he couldn't have got to those situations without playing well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think one year he was playing unbelievable, and then he played me, he just didn't really show up, so I was quite fortunate there.
Right, and here after a few racks,
it was Corey a nice break. So that's the experience there. Like, that's the difference between Corey and probably the rest of the guys in the tournament, is that he knows a break shot probably as good as anybody.
Yeah, and he knows
he hit that break very easy, and he knew exactly where the cue ball was going to go.
Yeah, and he knew he was going to get enough of an opening to get started on the run. That's one thing I think you'll see from Corey. If he doesn't really like it, he's not going to really crash him super hard. You know, he's going to try and keep control and do his work through the rack. Yeah,
his car is probably a little bit similar style to me. I mean, I don't really like to really crunch the stack like Torsten. When he breaks at straight pull, he just hits them as hard as he can.
Right.
And it's great when it's coming off, but when you're doing that, there's a lot of scratching involved.
Right, and in tournament play, it doesn't take but one bad roll or one, getting hemmed up one time to be eliminated from the tournament. Here we're playing a round robin, so it frees you up a little bit, knowing you're going to get to play more matches. But
yeah, I think with someone like Corey or maybe myself or even yourself, really, if you got a really good cue ball, then I think it's really good to pick out the stack and play them little positional shots. And that's why killing the cue ball at this game is very important to the amateurs out there. You got to learn to kill the cue ball, and very important, because that's what the pros are so really like that. That's where they really excel, is like creating something with a cue ball.
Right.
Where the amateurs sort of like, it's rather rolling the ball, or they're punching the ball, or they draw the ball. But you got to study the cue ball, the physics of the cue ball.
And what Darren's talking about by killing it is taking an angle that doesn't really agree with you and being able to apply English and stroke to be able to slow the cue ball down.
And also with that, you're also making the pockets bigger by doing that, especially when you're playing balls down the rail. Just playing them soft draw shots, but not hitting it too soft. You know what I mean? It just makes the pockets a lot bigger also.
Right. And we talked about it all week. when it comes to 8-ball, even more so 8-ball than straight pull, but both 8-ball and straight pull, you'll play with a lot more full hit and just move here a little bit, move there a little bit. Where 9-ball, you play with the angles to get the cue ball around the table. So really quite different.
Yeah, I mean, some players' styles of play suit certain disciplines, and if you really study that cue ball, like you say, and really master the cue ball,
He's
then
going to need a shot.
Then it's going to be very difficult to not be good at all games. Where if you only know certain amounts about the cue ball, certain things about the white ball, then you're probably going to be a really good rotation player, but you're never going to quite make it at one pocket and a straight pull.
Yeah, it's gonna take you. Really like he talked about the physics of the cue ball, and I think what Darren's talking about is the collision between the cue ball and the object ball, and the different things you can do.
Yeah, the creativity is important. I mean, that's why Efren's so good. You know what I mean? And Bustamante and all them guys, their cue ball's just incredible. But they create something what's not. It's not like by the book. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you just gotta study. Study is very important.
Yeah, and I really think a lot of people don't think this, but I've always been under what I thought was, I think the conditions that the Filipinos have to learn to play under makes them have to learn the game better to play it well, because of the humidity. You know, now they have better conditions over there as far as the pool rooms. You know, they've come around a long ways, but from the first time I went, the tables were slow and tough and wet, and if you don't learn to move the cue ball naturally with angles and spin, well, you're going to have a lot of trouble.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you play someone like Warren Kiamko in the Philippines and then play him in America, it's like watching two different people.
Right.
It's like playing against two different players. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's great anyway, but I mean, you watch someone like him in the Philippines and you're thinking, Jesus, what a player.
Yeah, and the first time I went over there, he had offered to play Johnny.
Yeah.
And at the time, Johnny was playing so great, I'm like, Johnny, I mean, this is like steel. And not only that, Johnny rarely ever lost for money back in the day. I mean, it didn't matter who he was playing. So, but the guy that we were with, he's like, you better wait till you get back to America to play Warren. It's a big difference between America and the Philippines.
Yeah, it's amazing, really.
And he's still got a little work here. Not too much trouble.
Well, the 4-ball's a great break ball, so he needs to get shape on the 15 or the 8-ball, but he's got the 6, maybe the 6. No, it's not a combination. I was going to say the 6 and the 13 was a combination, but I don't think it is. So he needs to, I'm guessing he needs to break them to open at some point.
I think there's a spot there that it does go. It's tight, though, especially with the 4-8 being there. It's hard to get to that position.
Yeah, he might even elect to make the 15 and maybe bump into the 4.
Well, I would like to be able to hit high right and come across and have options on the 5-7. That'd
be good, yeah.
That would get me to where I could drop on maybe the low side of the 8 and the side, and then maybe get at that 6.
But it's one of them shots. If he does that, this is one of them shots where don't quit on the shot because the balls are a little bit wet. It's very easy to
hit it thick.
Yeah, to lose the cue ball also. I think that's why he's elected to do what I said. It's actually worked out great, really.
Yeah, he's put the 4 in a good position.
You don't have a real good break ball, but if he can kiss the 6 ball, then he can use the 13 as his break ball. So if he comes underneath the off the bottom rail and maybe just kiss that 6-half ball, that'd be perfect.
You think he can reach it without having to use the bridge?
Yeah, I think so. He's quite good at reaching over at balls when.
Yeah, and he's right-handed from there, so that makes it.
He's looking at the 8 ball
and pinching the cue ball over for the 5 probably.
Yeah, this is where someone like him really excels, when you got like these little close positional shots, and you got to get the cue ball perfect.
And Corey really opened up playing great the first 3 days of the 8-ball, and he just struggled a little bit the last day and ended up losing in the final. But overall, I think his game is back for sure, and I've seen it about the last 18 months.
Well, I think what happened with Corey is that I think for like 2 or 3 years he wasn't playing so great under pressure. That was the big thing what I noticed. But it looks like he's playing good under the gun, which is the most important. It's easy to lose your confidence at this game.
Oh yeah.
And then you're under pressure and you're just not producing. Whether it's a mind thing or confidence, I mean, we've all been there. But I think with Corey, he looks good around the table. What I noticed for a couple of years there, he looked edgy.
Right. He wasn't sure of himself, that's for sure. And I'll tell you one thing about our sport. We're all friends, but if we smell a little weakness,
Yeah.
we want to pounce.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, off the table, we all like sympathise with each other because we know how difficult the game is, and but on the table, we just want to kill each other. But
Right.
but after the game, we're all sort of like, we never like to see great players really struggling, going through like bad periods, and their game's just completely gone.
Yeah, because we all know that feeling is what Darren's talking about.
Yeah.
Now, did he get too thin on the 13 or the 6 to hold?
Well, now I think he'll probably use a 6 ball, I guess, for the break shot, which is not terrible. But he, probably make the 13 and come up for the 4. Just stop the cue ball where the 4 ball is. I think that's okay.
Yeah, that's not bad. And then just come off the rail with a little speed. But when you do that, you'll want to contact more of the corner balls, I believe.
Yeah, probably the 2nd ball from the end. Be a bit of English. And he's really good at them type of shots. I think that people really neglect these bottom balls on this rail as a break shot. I think on this table it might actually be the best option just because of how the balls are breaking. Because you can't really scratch on that shot, and as long as you hit the right ball, you are going to come out with a cue ball.
Right, get the cue ball freed up is what he's talking about.
And you're hitting the majority of the balls on the table in the stack, because that's where the back balls are. If you get them open, then you'd be very unlucky to not have a shot. Well, when you're coming from the side rail, if the stack's not breaking great, that can be a number of things, and then balls are not really coming out, and it's easy to lose a cue ball.
Yeah,
Might be careless here, though.
He did okay, I think.
Might just be okay, but he had no reason to be short there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's always a side, especially playing all pool games, but really playing 8-ball and 9-ball, 8-ball and straight pool, there's an erroring side, meaning a side you want to miss to. Like if I get a little out of line, I want to be on this side of the out of line, not the bad side. But he's still going to be okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good there. So now he's just got to make sure that he hits the 2nd ball on the left side, and play with a lot of right English.
Right,
and,
to where if he comes to the rail, he spins up a little bit.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. That way he can't really scratch.
Yeah, so what you're saying, he's going to draw the ball back and towards the 9 and 10. He could punch and come straight up, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, he can do that, but you don't want to hit the 2 ball. That's a big thing here. You can a lot of bad things can happen there.
And even from this angle, if he comes straight up, if he catches solid on the 14, I still think something bad can happen. So
yeah,
I kind of like the draw. That way you're coming in at an angle on the 9.
And the key on this shot is make sure you make the ball as well.
Absolutely. First things first. He caught the 2, but he was fortunate enough to push the 9 out.
Yeah. He's very fortunate there, really.
And he kind of moved on that one a little bit. His body kind of moved, catching this. Didn't get as much draw stroke on it.
Yeah. And it's actually worked out perfect now because it is going to open a lot of balls here.
Yeah, if he catches a piece to the 7 also.
He might actually just move 2 balls here because the 7 ball's not going into the stack. Like that. So he should have really he didn't really take a lot of care there, Jamie, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm wondering why he elected to go so hard into the 10.
Yeah.
Because the cue ball wasn't ever going to come up table, so he needed the 10 to stay close to the cue ball to give him another option.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
And not only that, even if he didn't shoot the 10 next, he needs another ball by the rack. You'll notice there isn't much to break on. I'm surprised he's just stopping here. Because for the way these balls lay, don't you look at the 4?
Oh, the 4 was great.
Yeah, to break.
Sometimes you've got to take a gamble, right? And like it's always nice to have the insurance ball, but in this situation, he should have got good shape on the 4 ball.
Yeah, and whether that be roll forward for the 4 right then, or roll forward for the 7 to play on the 4.
Yeah, for sure. I can't believe what he's done, really, to be honest. But when you're not feeling comfortable and it's a bit sticky, then it's easy to. It's like you're taking the coward's way,
the
really.
ball, right?
You're frightened to play the right shot, if you know what I mean.
Right. And I commented on it yesterday. The guy who can really commit to the right shot is the guy that wins most of the tournaments.
Yeah, for sure.
And the guy that I said it also in the last match that I don't think in the last 10 years anybody has more titles than you in SVB. And of course, I've got to see Shane play a little more than you. I've got to see you play a lot. But that's one thing he really does. Once he commits to that's the right shot to shoot, he's not going to back down and try and cinch it.
No. And there's no mistake that him and Jason, really, of the last 18 months, 2 years, have really dominated the game, really. I mean, Shane more so in America, but Jason's taking that role also now. And they're winning like 50% of the tournaments between them. I mean, it's because they commit better than anyone else, and they're putting the work in, and they play with supreme belief, and that's a big difference right now from them to everyone else. They're playing with a lot of belief, and they commit to what they're doing.
Right, a lot of hard work and confidence. Now, when he comes down towards the rack, he doesn't want to hit the side of the 15.
Yeah.
He'd like to go right on the head. And you know as well as I do from playing bonus ball, that ball in the middle.
Yeah, I sort of love this
remember
shot.
how many scratches we saw coming off the side of the rack?
This was my favourite shot in bonus ball.
Yeah, breaking the rack on the
Yeah,
black.
because it's like you see this a lot in snooker. If you're playing the blue and you go into the stack, same thing.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, he'd be unlucky not to get a shot, and that may have happened. Does he have a thin one ball that goes in between the 14 and 2? It's close.
He don't like it. I think he might have to make the one ball.
Oh, what else is he going to do? I mean, an off-angle combination.
Yeah, I don't think you can see enough of the 12. I don't want to play any bank shot, especially at straight pull. It's weird, like if you're playing 9-ball, a bank shot's pretty easy, but when you're playing straight pull and 8-ball, the banks are tougher for some reason.
You're hating yourself when you got to shoot it. And he had a similar shot here. This is actually a little easier in that opening 4-ball he had. Now, is he going to play this with inside to try and get a little collision?
Probably, yeah. He plays his shots really good usually.
Wow.
Nice.
And I'll tell you, you'll learn something there. A good stroke will open the pocket up. Like, he didn't hit that one perfect, right? But didn't even think about standing up because of the stroke.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in that.
And what he did there is that he didn't try to be too greedy and play with a lot of inside English and go into the balls. He purposely hit the 5-ball there. Well, I think it was a 5-ball. So he knew he'd have a pretty good situation. Actually, the rack's really good now because the 3-ball is going to be a good break ball. He just needs to get rid of the 2 balls in the centre there.
Yeah, and that'll open up the 13.
Yeah. But what I do with straight pull is that at the start of the rack, I sort of look for the problem balls, get them in the open as quick as possible, and then when I get down to the last 6, 7 balls, I just play the game like I'm playing 8-ball.
Right.
So I start thinking backwards then.
Right, and then you really use the connection of the balls. Instead of moving the cue ball as much, you use the connection of the balls to move your cue ball, right?
And that's why when I first started playing straight pool, I played it like I played an 8-ball. But then the more you play, you learn more about the break shot and key balls to get to the break shot. And then you can sort of learn too much sometimes because you start overthinking.
Right. Start questioning what you already know. But that's what I liked by watching you in the last match, and also Corey in the first match, is the key ball before the break ball.
Yeah.
I thought that was, between all the players I've seen so far today, that it was crystal clear that in my opinion, y'all played the game, played a little more solid as far as percentage-wise.
Yeah, it doesn't always show up like you say, but I mean, because Dennis wins quite a few straight pull tournaments and is an 9-ball runner. But again, because he's got a great cue ball and he's such a good shooter. But if he played the patterns as good as the real top-tier straight pull players, he might never lose. You know what I mean?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And that's just like his 8-ball game. I know he hasn't played as much 8-ball in the last few years. It's actually come around a little more. But he probably went a spell where he rarely ever played 8-ball, maybe once a year. But I thought his 8-ball game evolved as the week went along.
Yeah, for sure. Dennis is he learns the game so quick, doesn't he? I mean, he's really put so much work into his one pocket. I played him at one pocket for money about 3 years ago. I thought that I just outmoved him very easily. But now he's like obviously one of the best players in the world at one pocket.
Yeah, when I first started watching him, it's a weird game. Like I know the game pretty well. So when you know a game real well, like one pocket, you look at a table, right, and I can ignore a lot of the areas because I know a certain area I have to deal with. So when I used to watch Dennis, he would look at all 15 on the table every time it was his shot. And it kind of made him a little brain fried. Now he's played it a while. He knows he goes right to the area that really needs addressed. Yeah,
when you play against or you watch a specialised one pocket player, you see that they see the shots very quickly. It's probably like me playing 8-ball, really.
Right.
But when I was the same as Dennis, but then I started playing a lot of money matches and playing like frequently every day, and then you just learn so much off your opponent, really.
And it doesn't take a great opponent to learn from. That's what's so great about that game. You could give a guy 12-5, and he could move better than you, and you're going to learn a lot from him.
Yeah, I mean, I've played loads of matches like that, and that's what I really learned. And it's a different style of one pocket. And I mean, you learn a lot from the older generation. Their knowledge of the game is incredible, really.
Right, especially for situational one pocket or pool period, just situations.
Yeah, I would say that the new generation probably shoot the balls better, but the older generation got more knowledge.
Yeah, and
I think.
I think that has a little bit to do with the conditions of the equipment. Some time ago, it was a little bit more of a moving game, hard to break balls open.
Yeah.
Tougher to make balls, probably.
Yeah, well, I would imagine back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, it was like playing in the Philippines sort of thing, because you're playing on old tables, old cloth, like really thick cloth and battered balls. You know what I mean?
Inconsistent on the pool balls.
The cues weren't as good then. It's like golf, isn't it? I mean, everything just gets better and better.
It sure does.
And everyone's training harder now. But now everyone's got access to YouTube and all these videos. I mean, they're really spoiled. The younger generation now is really spoiled.
Yeah, that's right. YouTube should be charging them people for all that pool advice. I had to pay quite a bit of money and lose and get beat on quite a bit of times to learn. Uh-oh.
Wow.
He's going to need some help here. He's got the 7, though, and that's real fortunate.
A little bit, yeah. And what happened there is that he didn't
the ball.
He didn't go through the cue ball and commit like there.
Right.
And because it's playing a little bit heavy, you have to really put a big stroke on that one.
Yeah, and he could have hit a little higher on the cue ball than he wanted as well. You'll see he wanted to get a little snatch through that rack to guarantee himself the shot on the 5.
And if he does have a weakness, I would say he hasn't really got a big power stroke. Probably like myself, really. I'd probably say that's my biggest weakness, is that I don't have that big power stroke like Shane and Jason, all them guys, Mika. And Corey's a little bit like that.
Well, it's changed. I played Corey quite a few times when he was a young man, and his stroke
changed a lot.
Yeah, it was much longer.
And he had such a big, powerful break back then, also.
Oh, he sure did. And like, you wouldn't believe how well. I'm talking about 18, 19, 20 years old. You know.
Yeah, it was incredible. I remember watching him play at Cardiff in the World 9-Ball Championships when he was maybe 20. He was pounding that break. It was incredible. So it's amazing how things change in people over the years, and it's definitely, as with me, I think as you get older, but that battle scarred, you just evolve your game to try and make the game as easy as possible.
Right.
It's like Joshua, when you're watching him play now, it's like beautiful to watch. It's like Jason, it's beautiful to watch, but the older they get a few battle scars and a few real heartbreaking defeats, and then they'll just sort of tighten up a little bit.
Yeah, well, a shot, I forget how the phrase goes, but you know, it looks like you start to respect certain shots a little bit more. Oh, this is a tougher shot. Oh, I could have done a little better here, you know.
And what you see with these youngsters now is like Joshua and Jason, is that they're so confident before they go into the game. They say, I'm gonna like run over this opponent, run over this guy. But I mean, it's all great to have that confidence. I was the same at that age. But when they get older, their mindset will change, and they'll really tighten up a little bit and probably respect the game more, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
But not in a bad way. I mean, it's great to have that cockiness and that confidence in their ability, and the sport needs people like them.
And that's what makes what makes you a champion, also.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
I mean,
We need characters, and I mean, it's great when you get people like Joshua coming along, and Skyler, Billy Forbes, and others. So it's I think the game's in really good shape for the future.
I agree.
And you got the old guy still battling it out. Don't write us off yet.
Now here, he's pushed the 14 into a nice spot and really keeping nice control. He's got to get that 9, though. And there's no reason to hesitate on the 9. Yeah, except for maybe the 9 gets you to the 1 ball on a nice angle. So he could fall forward for the combination here, right?
Yeah, possibly, yeah. I think the 8 4's a combination. So it could actually... but really, ideally, the 4 ball would be perfect to get on his break shot.
Right.
But he might be able to use the 8 ball if he can play the combination. I think he's looking at that. Or he could just play for the 2 and play shape on the 4 that way. But
Corey will do it where he doesn't have to move the cue ball that much.
Yeah.
Okay.
I sort of felt as if he'd play the 4. So I'm guessing he's probably going to use the 8 ball as his key ball to get on his break shot. So now he needs to play a good position.
Okay, but I mean, you don't want to go all the way around the table. Do you just use the 1 right here?
Well, I think he's a bit annoyed because he's sort of hampered over the 9 ball, so that makes the shot tougher.
Yeah.
So now he's taking a route what he don't want to take, but it's safer. Let's say he's like taking the easier option.
That needs to go.
This needs to go, yeah.
And that's where he's made his mistake earlier today. Was just a little bit of an underhit. And that could be from the humidity. That'll definitely slow the bed down as well.
And this is a frustrating part about straight pull, is that if you control the cue ball and play the game right, it's quite an easy game. But when you just get out of shape a little bit, then it becomes very tough. And this is what's happened right here. It's a great example. And that's never the shot, really. I mean, he knows that as well. I mean, he should be taking his medicine there, making the 9 ball, making the 4 ball, and going up and down table,
Yeah, probably so.
and hoping to get perfect on the 8 ball.
Now he's going to have to elevate here, or can he roll past the 4? The 4 is going to move past the middle diamond quite a bit, Darren.
Well, he's going to follow through and hopefully have it in the same pockets as where his hand is.
Okay, but what I'm worried about is see how far the 4 went. That's what I'm worried about, is like how, he's going to get pretty steep there.
Yeah, good luck with this shot, getting shape on the.
Yeah.
If he gets shape here, I mean, this has to be really good. I mean, he's made an easy rack look very difficult here, and it's not because of his lack of knowledge. It's just played one or two careless shots.
Wow, great
That's
hit
a great
there.
shot. That's probably
and held the cue ball.
Yeah, that's probably the
What a shot.
best shot in the match so far.
Yeah. And what Darren was getting at is if you're staying in line, you're shooting a lot of easy, short shots, playing straight pool for the most part.
Yeah. Oh, it's a frustrating game. When you're on, it's a beautiful game. It just feels so easy. But when you're slightly off and you're not putting the cue ball in the right spots, it's so easy to get out of position very quickly.
Yeah.
Especially when you get to your last maybe 4 or 5 balls.
Well, I've practiced it at home or back home, and where I've run a few racks and I messed up. And I run a few racks and I messed up. And I run a few racks and messed up. And I said, heck with this. Let me go on to something else before I start losing confidence.
It's a great game to practice because it's great for your concentration. But when you break down after making a high run like 80 or 90, and you break down, it's very, very difficult to restart. I think so he's going to play this with follow. I don't really.
No,
it's
I
not
wasn't.
too bad. But I don't. It was a perfect break shot, and I don't understand why he played it too delicate like that.
Yeah.
He's trying to be too perfect there, like too controlled, let's say.
He doesn't have a shot at all, does he?
Well, I think he might have the 15 in the side.
Well, he better shoot it because and hope it doesn't change positions any. It looks like it's tight.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised he played about a follow. I mean, he had
I
perfect
thought so
break
too.
shot, really.
Yeah, to just hit the rack and draw to the center of the table, right? And when you're talking about that, I was asking Danny earlier, when you're talking about that break shot where you're drawing it off the rack to the center, I think visually you don't have to worry about the balls you're hitting as much as just play the stroke to draw the cue ball to the center, and usually things develop pretty nice.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why he played that shot, really. There's times where you have to do that because you're really low, but there he was sort of hitting the perfect ball, really. I mean, he couldn't have had a better break shot, but he's got away with it, that's for sure.
Yeah, and on a pretty nice run here, and made a few really nice shots. You saw him to keep it going. He's on a run of 58. He leads 59-13.
And as you know, you usually, when you're on a decent run, you usually get a few little rolls here and there.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
any game, I mean, straight pool and one pocket especially, there's less luck in them games than any other game, but there's a little bit of luck involved.
Absolutely. That's why we're played with round objects. I say that all the time. Just like a football, it's not a ball, but it's round.
Yeah.
Like a hockey puck, it's round. You know, you don't always know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah. So it looks like he's playing a combination.
Yeah, and
Huge fan of this, but maybe
I think it's good.
Yeah,
the one will open the 4 and 12 a little bit, and he'll have the 13. Oh, he played it.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, I was totally fooled about the angle. I thought he had to cut the 7 on the 6 a little bit.
Yeah, that's why I didn't like the shot, but after he's played it, it makes sense. But it didn't come out great.
No, I
still
like
got
the
4
combination if I could go into the 1 with the cue ball, but and not with a lot of speed, but a little bit of speed.
Yeah, now he's got in a situation where he needs to play two or three really good position shots. Because he's running out of options to get into that stack.
He's got to get the 3 removed too.
This is a nice shot. So it'll be interesting to see if he plays 7 and
Go back into the balls?
Yeah, going back into balls, and I mean it'd be sort of unlucky to not have a shot, but there's risk. There's definitely risk there because there's no guaranteed insurance ball.
No, not for sure, not at all. And the way they're laying the 4 balls, he could stick to where you would think it's unlucky not to get a shot, but it may be a shot to where he's elevated over the balls, and you have to be prepared to do that. Not only playing straight pool, but 8 ball. You're going to shoot some shots at times just to where you're elevated.
Well, it wouldn't be a bad option here just to roll the 7 ball in and leave an angle on the 3 and go into them that way, because then you're sort of going the right way with the cue ball. But you'd have to play a controlled cannon there.
Yeah, and
so he's not left a big angle here, so I'll be surprised if he goes into the stack here. So
and that's when it does stick, when you don't have a big angle and you have to force it across because it's not revolving. You're kind of sliding a little bit.
He's played that really well. So now he's going to try and
Kiss the 4, right?
Kiss the 4, but you don't want to hit it too hard and lose the cue ball to the top rail.
And not only that, he's still got to produce a break shot, so he doesn't want to send too many of them upstairs. And if he can just rub this 4, it should open the 2 and maybe push the 1 on the other side of the rack.
Yeah, I think this is going to work out pretty good. I think it's situated just nicely. Ooh.
Big trouble.
Bit too soft on me.
What about the banks you don't like to shoot?
Yeah,
Here's one of them on the 5 ball.
Yeah, I think he played that a little bit too soft, though. He should have sort of played it at the speed so that the cue ball would have been in the center of the table.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know if it stemmed totally from yesterday, but even last night in the 8 ball, when he made a mistake, it was really from an under hit, just really not kind of letting his stroke out.
Yeah, it's usually you put your house on him to make this, but straight pull, you never know. He
Did he get a shot?
Yeah, he's got the 4 ball. He didn't get on the 2 ball. He's sort of smiling there.
Barely.
Yeah,
I think he thought he would get by the 9 a little easier.
So this is missable. I mean, he should make it, but it's tougher than what it should be.
Absolutely. It's been a long day. Corey started off here playing at noon, so and Corey's in great shape. You can see that. It's not anything. Oh, and there's that thick hit.
That's what happens when you're just not feeling it. Even though he run, what, 50 balls?
65.
65, sorry. He never really looked comfortable.
No.
So he was sort of waiting for him to make a mistake, really. Like you say, he's sort of losing the cue ball a little bit tentative with some shots, and Josh played a clever little shot there.
Yeah, just barely bumping the 1 into a little better position.
So he needs to make sure he gets good on the 2 ball.
And this is what I'm talking about as far as just going to look. I know there's I know there's an area that you want, but you just get a little more dialed in when you go and look.
Yeah, him and Jason, they just see it so quickly. And I mean, I'd be scared of this shot, but you don't care where it lands, really. But that's the different styles, and that's what makes the game exciting, really.
Yeah, I mean, scared might be a little far-fetched. It just grabs your attention a little more.
Yeah, it gets you more attention. Yeah, I'm thinking I want to be perfect on that on this break shot. He's left more distance than what I would like, but
and a hair less angle than you probably want. Just a hair.
But he's looking at his shot, thinking, "Oh, I'm never going to miss this in a million years." But in 10 years, he might think different.
Right. Okay, pretty nice.
Yep.
And he knew he wasn't going to get the entire rack open, and he hit it accordingly, meaning he didn't just blast it and try and lose the cue ball just to get extra balls open.
Yeah, and he's one of them guys. He's capable of running the match out, but he's capable of like making a lot of mistakes in like maybe 20, 30 making a mistake because of his style of play.
Right.
But if it's all running for him and he gets going and he gets the momentum and he gets a few kisses here and there, he could easily run this match out, and he could do it very quickly.
Yeah, and he got a little funny here. It looks like he's going to have to shoot a long one. It appears. That being the 5 ball or the 9, I'm sure it's going to be the 5. And I had said that earlier this afternoon, that not the exact thing, but I did say that I bet he has a lot of high runs, but I bet he has some errors too in simple situations that you wouldn't think so.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, 293? That's a pretty high run.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, he's not really looking to see where the object ball's going after he kisses it.
Right.
And,
He's not reading the rack, right?
Yeah. And that's just with the speed they play and not checking. I mean, there's situations where you have to check, and he'll learn that as he gets older.
Well, not only that, I always felt like the check-in dials me in a little more.
Yeah.
You know, gives me a lot more of a trust when it comes to the speed of the table.
Yeah, for sure.
Ooh. That one was a little heavy, and now he's still got more work to break.
He's tied up the balls there, unless it's 11-7 combination into the top. But I don't think it is, so he needs to break them balls up.
Yeah, it may be throwable. Looking at your screen over there, it's close. But I think with the other ones there, he should be able to get at him.
Yeah.
The thing is, I think he wants to leave the 3 now as a break ball.
He could actually play the 3 and just nudge the 4 slightly, but he's chose not to.
Yeah, and that's when I produce, when I don't have one, that's where a lot of times I like to is just bounce off the end rail a little bit, and it's just a natural path to knock that object ball into a good place.
Well, that was very careless because he tried to get on the 6 ball there to break him, and he's over at the cue ball. So now he's making this very difficult.
Yeah, even more so.
Yeah, so now he's
even more so.
Sort of in no man's land now because it's going to be very difficult to have a break shot. And that was just because he didn't really study Just didn't study the situation there.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we had talked about at the beginning as far as slowing down. It's not like you got to slow down just to play the same way. What it is you have to slow down to study, and you can't study without slowing down. So it's not like, it's not like we would change Joshua's pace if studying wasn't part of the game. It's just, it is part of the game. So you got to watch how he doesn't lose the cue ball too far.
Yeah, it's the same with Jason. Jason plays at the same speed as him, but Jason started checking more.
Right.
Because he's got older and he's obviously a lot more experienced than Joshua, but he plays at the same sort of speed, but Jason has slowed down when he needs to, just to double check and make sure.
Yeah.
And Joshua, it'll all come together. I mean, this kid's going to be an amazing player.
Oh,
absolutely.
absolutely.
I mean, he is now, but he's going to get better and better. I mean, his fundamentals are great, you know what I mean? And he's got so much confidence. And a lot of belief. He's not frightened to win. I mean, at 19, he's playing these top players. He isn't scared of nobody. And that's what it's all about. I mean,
what I see is it's quite the opposite of scared. Like he's trying to let them know he's here.
Yeah. He loves that stage. Some guys, they get out there on TV and they freeze.
Right.
And we've seen a lot of great players on like, I say, like you're either good, like you're really good stage player or you're a really good floor player.
Right.
The floor is when you're playing on table 22 at the Derby City Classic. But when you get them on television, you're thinking, oh, I feel confident about this match. And there's loads of players like that. It's just unfortunate that they don't have that strong mentality on the lights.
Right. And it's a little unfortunate that, if we had 50 tournaments a year, some of those guys that need a little more time to get used to that might have a little more opportunity, In pool, we don't have quite as much opportunity for some guys sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what separates in any sport, really. I mean, the great players, they're just so good on the big stage.
Yeah, they know when to shine.
And the really good players who play just as good on the outside tables, they just can't do it on TV. And I know loads of players like that. And it's just one of them things. They're just not as strong mentally as the great players, and that's what separates the best players from the really good players.
Absolutely. Got a little funny here, huh? A little bit. I mean, the 6 is makeable, but he's got a little cut on it.
Yeah, I mean, he isn't going to play any patterns what we'd play, so we just sort of enjoy the ride, really.
Right.
Just enjoy the ride.
Well, and I tell you that fact that I know it's hard to, like you said, it's hard to imagine that it's the truth, but whenever I first started playing in the Pro Tour, I started traveling around different countries and stuff, I traveled with Johnny a lot, and he knew a lot of the guys. And he would tell me, no, he's going to fold. I'm like, Johnny, he just ran 8 racks. What do you? No, he'll fold. And sure enough, Johnny was right. I mean, more often than he wasn't.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time with Johnny. I'm really good friends with him. Spent 3 weeks on the road with him doing exhibitions and that. It's like picking his brains and getting the stories. And he knows, you know what I mean? He's like obviously been there and got the T-shirt. And yeah. I'm the same. Like I play a certain player on table 22 at the Derby, and it's like a 50-50 match. But if I get him on TV, I know I'm a big favourite. Right. Just because I know that mentality. I mean, when you're playing against all the players and you play them so often, you get to learn their mentality and their weaknesses and their strengths.
As long as you probably go into the match, all right, just don't give them anything. Just no gifts to get them started, and I'm probably going to be okay.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But sometimes it can backfire. You get a bit too confident. So never take anything for granted, and you got to bear down and play the same against everybody, really.
Well, I thought he would shoot 3, 12, 8, 2, and then that would offer a nice little angle to stun over or stun up to the middle for the break on the 14.
Yeah, this kid just plays by. He sees it and plays it. I mean, it's going to be very hard to predict what he's going to do. So he just, I mean, obviously he's going to play the 8, just kill it for the 2, which is okay as long as he leaves the right angle.
Well, that's another thing. You got to make sure you get that angle. Just a little bit out of line caused some problems. Like right there, he could have got a lot better. Still okay. And yeah, I was commenting earlier in the week, it's real hard to use the telestrator when Josh is at the table.
Yeah. It's nice to see that he got invited. I mean, it's good for him. It's good for the game. And he's going to be around for a long time. So I think the Americans are going to love him. And he usually gives it the fist pump a lot when he wins a big rack and stuff like that. He gives it the fist pump, and people
we got to see that
are going to
at the
love
US
him
Open,
or they're
yeah.
going to hate him, and you're going to see it at the Moscone. There's no problem with that. I know he was doing it at the US Open, but you're going to see it even more at the Moscone. Even if he just makes a great shot, he'll give it the big one. And
really?
You've still got the rest of the table.
Oh, wow.
And I think he's great.
Did you
mean,
call it the big one? Is that what you
yeah,
said?
just gives it the fist pump. So he's in your face. I mean, he's sort of bullies you in a respectful way.
Right.
As long as you're not sharking, it's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's what he does. This kid's here. He's the real deal.
Yeah, we can't. None of us can really speak for anybody else's emotions when it comes to the game. So
Yeah, it'd be great to see someone like him and Billy play against each other.
well, I think
Oh, Dennis Hatch, that'd be great to watch him against Dennis Hatch, like two big characters, a lot of emotion, and they both like to intimidate their opponents.
yeah. Well, I think the start of that Moscone Cup here in just a few weeks, just the first day, is really gonna tell the tale. Not totally, but I mean, as far as like whoever starts off, the certain players, if they start off well, they're probably gonna play
sure.
pretty well the entire event.
Yeah, especially Shane and Skylar. I think them two really need to come with their game. If them two perform like they have been doing the last 12 months, I think it's going to be really going to maybe go 10-10 this year. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I can't wait to see a 10-10.
Yeah, it'd be awesome to see 10-10 and
Now,
Jason.
is it still a captain's choice?
Yeah, it'd be probably like Jason, I would think, and Shane. That'd be amazing.
Well, I think it has a lot to do.
On the situation.
Yeah, because
Ralph, you can't write Ralph off. But you would think it'd be Ralph or Jason from Europe, and I mean, it'd be hard to see them not playing Shane at any circumstance, really, because he's got the T-shirt, you know what I mean?
right.
He's played them big situations. It's hard to not put your experienced guy in there.
Well, we had
Jason's obviously at the moment probably the best player in the world, so it's hard to see past them two. But if you would pick someone else, it would be Ralph, just for his experience.
Yeah, we had a situation a long time ago, 10 plus years ago, that it looked like it was coming downhill. We ended up winning without that, but
Yeah.
Our captain approached a few of the players, and
Yeah.
they weren't prepared to play the
We've been in that situation. It was
Yeah.
2012. It was 10-9, and a few guys were like staying in the crowd. I says, look, I want to play.
Yeah, that's what I told
So
Nick as well.
I would have played Shane, actually. If it had gone 10-10, it would have been me and Shane, and it was close. Nick Vandenberg ended up beating Mike DeShane like 5-3, but it was like there was all over the place.
Right.
So they were making me nervous just watching them.
And he's making quick work of another rack here. He's got a nice break shot on the 2. Just needs to eliminate any silly mistakes.
Well, the way he's situated, he's probably going to end up leaving the 8 ball for his key ball.
Right.
Which is okay.
Yeah, and that one's okay. I don't mind that whenever I have a ball over that side over there that guarantees me that angle to make sure I don't get too straight on the 8 or too steep on the 8.
Because he's landed a bit funny, he should probably played the 5 and then the 8 and use that ball and come round the back of the 2. But because that time you might be running away from the stack here like that.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't get too straight or too thin, he should be all right.
Yeah, I mean, he's perfect. I mean, he just plays on all feel and just a natural ability. He sort of knows what to do, but because he's played so quick and what have you, he's sort of having to change his plan all the time.
Right. Yeah. Well.
Like, you can see that he's played a lot of straight ball. He isn't playing here for the first time. It's just that his style. So there's always going to be like different patterns with him, and but he'll find a way to get there just because he's played the game so much.
Yeah, and like all great players, he can recover. Meaning, if he gets out of line, he's got to make a long distance one. Oh, he spun it with English to go back into the rack, which
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I thought he would hit with a high ball or just a little bit of the inside English, actually.
That should come out really good.
Yeah.
It's just like shots like that there. He didn't really play a controlled shot. So that could have gone a little bit nasty, but it turned out okay. But you want to try and keep the balls like quite close together. You don't want balls flying to the top rail and stuff like that.
Right, and then not so much there because he had so many insurance balls, but he'll re-break in situations where there's a solid pack there, and you got to be really careful when you're doing that.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I would like to see. I'm looking forward to watching him and Jason play straight pull. I mean, that could be over in like, it could be the quickest straight pull match of all time.
Well, no doubt.
I mean, I've seen some straight pull
He
matches
got a little
take
funny here, didn't he?
race to 150. Yeah. But he's one of them guys, like, he's just going to shoot this 10 ball like it's... I mean, he's a bit annoyed with himself, but in his own mind, he's thinking this is straightforward.
Right.
Just because he shoots so good. And what I will say about this Revo shaft is that for them type of shots, it's the best shaft I've ever played with. Like, just them long, straight punch shots, it's so good, it's unbelievable.
Now, you say that because it allows a hair of a miss hit at times?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very, very forgiving shaft.
Right. And that's what I was thinking about when I heard a couple other people talk about it on the long distance shot. It's not so much, it doesn't shoot it straighter. It just keeps a little miss hit a little more online, I guess is what we were saying. So
Yeah, for sure. And I think for someone like him with his style, I think it's perfect for him. I think there's certain guys, maybe someone like Ralph Suke, the Revo shaft probably would never suit him.
Right. He's got a combination on the 14-9 he's going to play. He's got a nice break on the 12, and he's got options with the 1 and the 4 to set up for that. So got a lot of options for it, really. The 15 being there, the 8 by the side.
Yeah, and it's pretty amazing that, 10 minutes ago he was down 66 to like 5 or something?
13, I think it was.
Or
He got the first 13,
I mean,
but it wasn't many, yeah.
He's leading now. He's on a high run. He's on 55 after like 10 minutes or something.
Yeah, well, he's got somewhere to be. Got to get some quick work here.
Yeah, and I don't know him that well because I don't play so much in Europe anymore, but I spoke to him quite a lot this week. Just really mainly about the Mosconi Cup, and he's actually a really good kid. I've got a lot of time for him, actually. He's got a good personality. And he takes the advice, so that's good.
Yeah, well, that's very important in my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't take advice from Darren Appleton, as far as when it comes to pool.
I think one day, me and you will be the captain. I think you'll be captain USA, I'll be captain Europe.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That'd be great. I have to do like a little saver or something.
Yeah, right. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I was commenting on earlier. I was actually visiting with Mike Pinoza via the text message, and we were talking about different things. But it's a big, the Mosconi Cup, and we won't sit here and talk about the Mosconi all night. But I'll tell you one thing. If you fall behind, the team that falls behind has such a disadvantage just because it's so much easier. Maybe not after day 1, but after 2 days, it's so much easier for the winning coach or the winning captain to really predict your lineup.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
For
right?
sure.
Because you look at they can't afford to send somebody up against struggling in certain situations. Whenever you're behind, you got to send somebody up that's playing well because you need a point so quick. So
that's for sure.
Okay, he needs some help here, and he got it.
Yeah, I think the secret to being captain is keeping the morale up and working with your team, giving good vibes, and getting the selections right. Tactics are very important.
Yeah, I think so. And
I think the Americans haven't quite got the tactics right the last few years.
Yeah, the kicking was a little weak on the American side, and I think they would tell you the same thing. And that's another thing that I really think is important is the table.
Yeah.
Like, really have them sorted for the table. Have them really prepared on what to expect.
Yeah, but not only just tactics as in the game, but tactics within
the team
selection of the team, like who to play who and where to play where. It's very important. And that's where Johan's going to be so great. There's no doubt about it. That's why this year it'd be close no matter what, because Johan's a genius.
Well, he's done well.
On and off the table, you know what I mean? Even though he don't play the game really any good, he understands the game really good.
Right.
But off the table, I mean, he's just such a good mental coach also.
Well, he's had a lot of success for Europe, and
yeah, I mean, if I was American and he's the captain, I'd be very happy, for sure. I mean, I've played under him for a long time. He's given me coaching away from the Moscow. Not coaching, but mental things, what he's given me to work on, and it really helped me a lot.
Yeah, one of the guys you call on whenever you have a little struggle.
Yeah, I mean, a few times I'm struggling, he'll message me and he says, oh, what's wrong? Because he sort of knows me so well. And he's great with stuff like that. And I think that's why Shane's so invested in the Mosconi this year. I've never seen Shane so excited about the Mosconi since maybe 2010. And now Shane's feeling very confident. He's very confident that their team's going to win this year.
Well,
Where the last few years when I've been speaking to Shane, you could see that he didn't think they was going to win.
Yeah, but I think they had chances though.
Yeah, but this year he really believes that they're going to win. So that's great. You know what I mean? You need your best player thinking that way. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, and not only that, I comment on it every year that I think Shane's going to play better than anybody in the event. I know that hasn't come true always, but I still believe it. I still believe that he's here to shine. So.
Yep.
And I think Skylar's going to have a great performance. Dennis has, I think he'll do great as well. He's just hasn't played in it in a few years, so it may take him a match to feel real, totally 100% about what's going on. Billy, he's got a lot of heart. Oscar, another guy with a lot of heart.
Yeah, you got a nice balance to the team. I think Oscar would be a great team player, like great in the team room and stuff like that.
Right.
And that's what you need, people who are together all the time. And this kid, I mean, look, he's just running out. So this year we've got a lot of different styles in the Mosconi Cup, like really different styles of players in the Mosconi Cup. It's going to be really exciting. And this kid's going to be, I cannot wait to watch him play, to be honest.
Yeah.
Imagine him and Jason when they play doubles together. Wow.
Well, very similar rack again here, just the opposite side of the table. He'll just have to pinch the 4-ball back a little bit for a nice break on the 7.
But what you are starting to notice now, Jamie, is that he's starting to play the patterns pretty good now.
Right.
And that's what, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
He's starting to play the patterns really good because his confidence is building, you see. And he's, he's just flying through it. And look at him, he's a funny guy. He reminds me of Jason, really. He like looking for that little, that nod of approval and all that stuff. And I love people like that. I just can't do it personally. I'm just focused on the table. I don't even look at anybody in the crowd. It's just me, you know what I mean? But off the table, I like all that stuff. But I'm just so intense when I'm playing. But with these guys, it's like they're just they're sort of trying to impress somebody.
Well, and
it's great, you know what I mean?
Well,
it's great.
I think it's a little bit of a youth mentality a little bit. Hey, did you see that? Did you see, you know what I mean? Kind of like not so much look at me, but did you see that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, you got Jason's like that, Melling's like that, Joshua, and I'm sure there's quite a few Americans who like Dennis Hatch. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, like a whoa.
Yeah.
You didn't want to miss that one. Yeah, during the U.S. Open, I did a couple commentary matches, and they both happened to be Jason. And you're way up in the booth, you know. And he would come with one, and he'd be almost looking for me up in the booth. You got a hold of that. You're going to say something good about that one, I'm sure. So.
Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, well, Jason, as far as the talent level, we were both there last year, and it looked like he might steal the show, and then he just wasn't going to be denied this year.
Yeah, it was the match against Kopin from 10-6 down. I've never seen anything like it. The last 5 racks was just incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, and then he just continued that performance for the next three or four matches to win it. Once he beat Kopin, you just sort of knew it was his year because he's been so close a few times. Been a bit unlucky a couple of times. He cost himself. And I've never known anybody who would be so confident he was going to win the tournament this year before he even started. I said, well, just calm down. I said, it's the US Open. There's no guarantees. But he put everything into the US Open, and he delivered the goods.
Yeah, and I thought if he got to play, continue on the TV table, I don't think the TV table really mattered. But if he got to continue on the TV table, he might dominate. And then I had to leave for the last day. My flight was a little early. So I didn't get to see the final, but
yeah,
that's what he did.
Yeah, you just could see in the final that there was only going to be one player winning. Just with the demeanour, the look.
Watch the cue ball now.
Yeah. He had to take a little bit of a risk there, and he played that nicely.
No, there's nothing wrong. I didn't think there was anything wrong. I meant watch the cue ball kind of like bad roll, maybe getting hemmed up or jacked up over the 14 or something, having to shoot long distance.
Yeah, he just needs to negotiate this.
And now with the high run of the event at 81.
Yeah, needs to break open the 2 balls here, but be a little bit careful. There you see. I didn't really care for that. I think he could have punched into them balls there and hit the top side, which would have been guaranteeing position. I mean, but now he got lucky because the 12 ball's gone to a break position.
Right.
So he's taking his break shot now. That was his break ball, the 5 ball. So he got a little bit fortunate, but when you're rolling and things are cooking and everything just starts looking so easy. And with his style of play, the game just gets easier as he goes on. You know what I mean? Because he's in that zone now. He's in like practice mode.
Yeah, I think he took a little look up here. I think he knows you're talking about him.
Yeah. And you even know so as a player, even in the chair, like Corey's thinking this is over. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. It's now 99-66, and he's on an 86-ball run. So he just needs to make sure. Don't lose focus on this 14.
Is that when
is he following this ball?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, that's a great shot. And what I like about him as well is that when he's sort of like playing his opponent, he'll look at the opponent also just to see how he's feeling and just to say, look, are you okay? You know what I mean? And I love that stuff. You know what I mean? As a sport, I mean, I like watching different sports, and I love stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely. And then anybody that doesn't think this is
gamesmanship in the right way. You know?
Right, right. And again. Some people take it personal, and I think that stems because we don't have a great tournament every week. If we had a great tournament every week, hey, we have a little more gamesmanship. You win this week, I got a shot to win next week. It makes a big difference.
Yeah.
But really for overall, is this going to be,
Well, he tried to play too control. He sort of tried to draw the cue ball out softly to the center of the table, which that was a wrong shot there. But this is a big shot to keep his run going.
Yeah, and he's got to kind of ease it to hold the gap on the one. He can't just let it go back and forth so easily.
Well, I think he can just focus on making the two,
right?
And just come across table. But
I'm saying he can't just he can't whack it and go 2 rails back and forth.
No, he's just got to make it.
Yeah.
I'm saying makes a shot a little bit tougher in some ways. Test his nerve. And there you go.
Oh, hit it pretty well though.
Yeah.
Believe me, they're not going here if you hit them bad.
Well, he hit it good in some ways, Jamie, because if you hit that a little touch fat, it's never going to go.
Right.
And it's hard to overcut that ball. The way it was situated, because it was only fractionally off the rail, it's very hard to overcut that ball. So he probably couldn't really miss it, actually, the way he played it.
He's got a little angle here. What's he going to do? Is he going to try to go into the 4?
Well, I think this is crazy if he's doing that, but that's what he... This is the difference. It worked out
He
great.
got perfect. Yeah, perfect on the 6. I think the way the 3's sitting, it's very hard to get stuck on the rack, too.
Yeah, but don't play with this to draw, though. That's it. Punch. It's like a punch follow.
Right. And now he's got the 5 looks pretty good as a break. The 14's not horrible. It's a little high.
Well, the great thing for him here is that the 8 ball passes the 9. The 11's in a great spot for the 8 ball, and then the 9 ball. So everything's sort of beautiful, really.
Really choices, right? He gives him a lot of choices falling on that key ball to get on the 5. Well, if he decides to use the 5.
Well, he should do, just because of how the balls are situated, but we'll see. He should really make all the 6 balls on the right-hand side of the table here, and then make sure you get a good positional to get on the 11.
Yeah, to get on the left side.
Or even get on the 9 first, and then
That's
play
what
the
I was
11.
going to say. He can try and get on the 11, and if he doesn't like it, as long as he's above the 9 or the 8, he should be able to produce.
And even the 11 could be his key ball.
Right.
Well, he's got a lot of options here. Just don't overthink it, which is easy to do. But obviously, this kid's not going to do that.
No. He's going to go ahead and get the 10, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and don't wait on the 10, I don't think. He could come back. Okay, he's going to go from the 11 to the... or is he going to take the 9 out?
I think it'd be best
to leave him, right?
Be a little bit careful here now.
Well, the thing is, if you leave him, if you get funny on the 8 later, you can shoot the 9 and the 8 up long. See, the 8 up long is still available once the 11's removed.
Yeah, but he's just made it a bit tougher than what he needed to. What he's going to do now is going to draw the 11 in, then he's going to play the 10 in the side. You go after 3 rails to get on the 8 ball. Right,
but then you're moving the ball like 6 feet to try and with perfect speed, too, right?
Yeah, I mean, he played that different to what I would play it, but so now he's going to draw back, I would think.
Okay,
that was okay. But that's the problem here. This is a problem. Don't get stuck on the rail.
To go.
Probably just about okay. He can sort of kill it, but he's got to hit this really good.
Right, and he's got to not let up on his stroke so he gets the pinch on the cue ball.
Great shot.
Yeah, great shot. He's a little more full than he wanted, and we got the clap a second ago because we got our first century run of the tournament.
Yeah, great run. But he was very lazy there because he could have been maybe 2 or 3 feet off the rail and he would have been okay on the 8 ball.
To kill the cue ball, yeah.
But I'm saying it because I've done it myself, so
absolutely.
I'm thinking, why have I landed here with a cue ball when I didn't need to?
Yeah,
just get off the rail, no matter what.
Yeah, when you don't have a rail to go into, you can't really kill the balls easily. But when you get above it, is what Darren's saying, you can do a number of things to slow the cue ball down. That one needs to go.
So he's getting a little bit fortunate off the break, I'd say, but he's smiling, so he knows as well. But when things are rolling like you are, you just think everything just lands perfect. It's amazing.
Now he's got the 13 if he likes.
I mean, now it's just perfect. Just smash these open. There you go. It's just amazing, isn't it? When you get in that zone and everything's flying, everything just comes out. Everything just comes out great. You know what I mean? It's weird.
Absolutely. Corey's a little ill about it.
Yeah, I think Corey, is he awake?
He's awake. He's very aware of what's going on. Corey isn't gonna turn his head at all, I don't believe.
Yeah, Corey's a great student of the game, so even though he's probably looked like he might lose this match, he'll probably be enjoying it in some ways, but...
Did he not go far enough? Is he not happy he didn't get underneath enough? I think he's okay.
Oh, this kid, well, even if he don't land perfect, he'll show his emotion, and it's sort of like a little bit of a nail into your opponent's coffin a little bit, because I mean, he's perfect, really.
Yeah.
But he likes to just show a little bit of like, oh, not quite happy. Well, really, he's like the happiest guy in the world right now.
Yeah, he's a little thin on the 6, but he can draw out of this to where he doesn't mess up his break ball if he's thinking of using the 8. He wants to fall on the 7 too, though, sometime pretty soon.
Yeah, the longer it needs to play it now, really. I would have played for the 15 though. There was no real reason to leave the 15, really.
No, and drop for the 7. That's why I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Use the balls to move your cue ball.
Yeah,
Use the balls you shoot in to move your cue ball.
And he could have actually left an angle on the 2 ball and kissed the 7 and make the 7 a break ball also.
Right.
So he's just getting a bit careless here. Just needs to regroup a little bit, let's say.
A bit careless, but he's on a 112 ball run and he's got 125. So
Yeah, it's a bit treated here, but nice treat actually.
oof, that almost got real dicey, and I think it did.
Well, he just got careless, hasn't he? I mean, he had an easy rack, and he's just sort of making balls with no real plan.
Purpose, yeah.
Yeah, just got a bit
He's got to shoot the
overconfident.
Combination, huh?
Maybe, yeah.
He
He can cut the 10 in the side, but no clue where the cue ball's going.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Well, he may be able to.
Look at this. He's going to try and spin it underneath the 7 and
kill
come
it?
round. That's amazing.
Wow.
I mean, maybe it was a good shot because he knew if he kissed him, it might be okay. And if he don't kiss him, he's going to be on him anyway.
Right.
So sometimes you make your own luck. And
He
that,
doesn't want to be on the rail, though.
yeah. I mean, this is the most careless he's been for like 20 minutes since
Now
the start of the run.
Yeah, he's going to make a decision here with top inside to go around the 8 or one. I like one rail up just above the 8 if possible, just because the 7.
Wow, what a shot.
Wow, how wild he hit that.
Yeah. I mean, that was a lot better shot than what it looked. And he
Yeah,
made
he
it look
made that
very
look
easy.
Yeah, that's a shot that I practice every day, shooting off the rail with the top inside.
Yeah.
So now at 129 to 66, and
Yeah.
really in a position to maybe just run all the way out. He's got a nice break shot here, and he needs a win. He started off with a loss.
Yep.
We saw Jason come back after losing his first 2 in the 8 ball, but you're not going to have that very often happen.
No, it's like a really good punch here. Punch it. But really, yeah, I mean, that wasn't too bad. I would have liked a bit more power in it, but he eat it the right way. He probably just left a little bit out there. But because you don't want to lose a cue ball to the top rail with that type of break shot. And he hit it more or less how I would have played it.
He's re-breaking already, and that's the one thing I saw. Like, the one thing about re-breaking when you have so many on the table, well, then you can congest the balls the same that they were, meaning they might be in a different area, but you got a lot of groups. Like, obviously I'm from the South, so we don't play a ton of straight pool, but I was told run some balls beforehand, get a little of the congestion out of there.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
You know, unless you have a real solid pack that you really see, you really need to reopen soon. But
yeah. Yeah, and I mean, after this rack, he only needs 7, so we could see our big number here, and it could be
real big number. It'd be 137, I think, is what it'd be.
Yeah, about 137 not out. And like I said before, like he's one of them guys what can do this, and then the next match he might need 6, 7, 8 chances. You know what I mean? It's just the way the game is. But once he gets in that role, he's going to do it very quickly and very confidently.
Well, I got to give it to him because I know he's made a few simple mistakes to get himself out of line, but he's made some great shots to recover.
Oh yeah,
that's what impresses me about all these great players. I keep saying it all week, just the way whenever they do get a little out of line, they can recover.
I think that, but when they're playing and they're in these situations, you can see that they're enjoying being out there. They're enjoying it.
Absolutely.
They're loving it. I mean, that's a big difference.
Did he get a little too much cut to bump the 3 just perfectly and hold for the 6? Of course, he's got the 9, so it's not, and he doesn't. Yeah, he's got the 9. It doesn't have a great way to get to the 9 just yet, but
yeah, he hasn't.
You don't want to leave the 7, that's for sure.
not bad. But he didn't really need to use the free ball as a break ball. I think he's tried to control the free ball as a break ball when the 9's a good break ball.
Yeah.
So let's see how he gets out here. But yeah,
Wow.
I mean, that's amazing. But
That's pretty good confidence shooting into that side, right?
But me personally, the previous shot when he canned the free, I would have played a soft draw up there and come up table. But he's just playing it how he feels. And
He needs to get to the 7 now, though.
yeah,
Okay, now he can come around, and there's anything besides straight in, he should be able to get to the 9.
and he's actually got 2 break balls here. But that's
Oh, you
terrible.
got to hit it. Yeah, there's no reason to be short.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 2 break balls, so anything but that. I mean,
Yeah.
even if it lands like 6 feet up table,
And
it would have been okay.
he's gonna cut this in. I would go 2 rails above the side myself. I don't think I want to flirt.
Yeah,
Not
no.
only put inside trying to beat the scratch on the side pocket, but also having the correct speed to get back across for the angle.
Well, he's not too bad, really. If he puts a good stroke on it, he can get over there. Probably leave it on the balk line, like the kitchen line right there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Don't try to come inside the side pocket. Just go ahead and go past the side pocket and leave a little distance.
Yeah. We're just checking the score there, so he only needs 7 after this. So let's see. I think he's going to make it. I think it'll be okay. Just because
Yeah, I don't see him missing the 14. I'm just wondering if he gains enough travel on the cue ball to get shape. It looks like he'll get there.
But you see what he did there, though, Jeremy, is it's the first time really where he's took his time and he's landed perfect.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I would rather him, if I'm his opponent, I would rather him keep racing
Yeah,
around the
for
table.
sure.
You know, if he starts laying down the cue ball right, we're all in trouble. It looks
Yeah.
like.
So the key is to not play this break shot like you're only playing for 6 or 7 balls. Play the break shot as if you're playing for the full stack.
Right.
So don't let out on this stroke. I mean, like literally let your stroke out. Play it as if it's a normal rack. I see too many people making the mistake here. Play a controlled break shot.
He's going to need the 1 to get out of the way.
Yeah,
Make sure he has a shot on the 5.
He's got the 5.
Yeah, he's got the 5.
So what happened there is that he sort of just didn't quite get the power draw into the break there, which he needed for that break shot. So, but like you said, like when things just come out sometimes. Where like another day he wouldn't have a shot here.
Right. He should be fine, though. I mean, wow. Okay. Now, do you play the 10 to go up into the balls, or do you just go ahead and get on the 8 and
Well,
try
I was
and
just thinking
manufacture?
He needs 5, so really you're looking to see if there's 5 balls in the open, and it looks.
And they're not.
There's definitely 1, 2,
3, 4.
You got the 12, the 15, the 10, and the 8. So I think he has got 5. When
Oh,
you,
does the 15 go? Okay.
I think so. Yeah. So if he plays, he should really be playing the. He should be playing for the 5 balls really. But this is
He's
good.
opening them all.
He's got 2 balls. This
He's
is
open.
okay also.
Yeah,
But that was good because he had insurance ball there.
he did. He did.
Yeah. I didn't see the 2 there. So
And now
that's-
playing for 4.
Yeah, no,
and
so-
they're right there. They just shoot the 11 or either one.
Don't be
really.
drawing this ball. What's he doing? Wow, that's unbelievable.
Well, I think he wants to continue his run after after the match is over. He's playing for 3.
Yeah, that's a good point. I won't be thinking of that.
No, me either. I wouldn't even probably continue it at all.
Yeah, I mean,
He's got to watch for his shirt here. He only needs 2.
Maybe he can't count. I don't know. I think he just realised.
Yeah, I think Cosmo should have announced. They'll usually announce.
I think he did do. He said he's playing
Okay.
for 2, but
Okay.
maybe his English is not so good right now. He's tired. So
Yeah, I wouldn't even waste walking around. I just knocked the 15
but
in.
what a
and-
great performance.
Yeah, what a great shooting. And I'll tell you what, probably the Joshua Filler we all expected to see, and I expect it'll get better and better. Corey Deuel will be back tomorrow with a 1-1 record. Both these guys at 1-1. My counterpart here for tonight's match, Darren Appleton, 1-0.
Yeah.
And good luck tomorrow, and thanks for joining us.
Cheers. It's been a pleasure. Thank
Yeah.
you very much. And what a match to join.
Yeah, right. And we'll go over Thursday's schedule real quick. Noon is Orculio Van Boning. 2:30, Darren Appleton and Jason Shaw. 7 o'clock, Filler and Van Boning. And then 9:30, we'll wrap it up with Deuel and Orculio. Thanks again, everyone, for joining us. I'm Jeremy Jones with Accu-Stats Video Productions. Y'all be safe and have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow.
The future of billiards training is here. Introducing the DigiCue, a small electronic coach that fits inside of a custom rubber housing and attaches to the butt end of any pool, snooker, or carom cue. Simply slide the DigiCue onto the butt end of your cue, push the power button, and then play the game of your choice. The DigiCue constantly monitors your stroke for inconsistencies and gives you immediate feedback by silently vibrating when it detects jab strokes, steering, body English or movement, standing up during your stroke. The DigiCue will force you to bear down on every shot. It will condition you to keep your head and body still during your follow-through, leading to a lasting improvement in the consistency of your stroke. The DigiCue comes in 3 different modes: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. Get serious about your game. This is cue training evolved. Can you beat the DigiCue?
Introducing Lucasi Hybrid, a whole new level of performance and technology. A cue with the revolutionary X-Shocks dampening system, eliminating vibration. G5 grip technology for enhanced traction and stability results in maximum cue control. Total sweet spot construction means unmatched power. And the Zero Flex Point ferrule provides dead-on accuracy, giving you the confidence you need in every shot. Lucasi Hybrid, the only cue that matters.